we are back, episode 13 of the GMA Beyond the Fight podcast, Gods of Martial Arts, one of the most innovative mixed martial arts promotions that not only celebrates ancient martial arts traditions, but treats fighters as celebrities. And we're already starting to see different innovations throughout Southeast Asia coming together as a team, growing martial arts together. Here we have a special guest, Coach Adam from Ninja Academy Thailand. We're not going to be able to get into all of his stories. We only have 45 minutes today, but it's an honor to have you on the show, Adam.
Thank you, Zach, for having me. I really appreciate being here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
So is this your first time to Vietnam? How long has it been since you've been here?
It's been a while. The last time I was here was quite a while ago. I was refereeing a Jiu-Jitsu competition with Remco Pardo.
Okay.
But that was a while back. So yeah, it's been. And I honestly didn't get to see much of Vietnam. I was fly in, do the job, and then fly back out.
Okay.
But, I got to have some good pho.
Pho. Did you get some the other night?
Dude, I think I overdid it with the banh mi and the pho, but yeah, I'm gonna go back to Thailand pretty much full. So,
Dude, to be honest with you, I mean, street food in Vietnam is why I'm here. I eat a bowl of pho every day, get a smoothie every day.
Oh, the smoothies are nice too.
The smoothies, oh my, they're amazing, man. They're amazing.
That filled me up.
Yeah, exactly. In the cha da, which is like cha da is like it directly translates to tea ice.
Oh, okay.
That's what you're drinking right there. And
okay.
Every little restaurant, every little pho shop, it's like a little bit different because it's homemade, and that's one of the things I love about Vietnam. It's usually it's free. It's cha da is free, especially here in the South. But cheers to that, my man.
Cheers to that.
Yeah.
Yep. It's not whiskey.
Well, at least the audience doesn't think so. So here we are. We're here at Lean Foam. This is a pretty unique. I don't have the martial arts experience that you have, but for me, this is a very unique feeling here. How do you feel when you're here at Lean Foam?
I like it. It has a different take to the traditional training centers. You know, I like the greenery. I really like the mist going across the little pond over here, but also the decor, how it kind of gives off this, like you're going back in time to where the traditional warriors were trained, and everything was pretty just made out of wood and steel. And yeah, it's a really interesting vibe. It's a really interesting vibe.
It's really interesting, and Johnny, he's so much attention to detail. You know, you walk in Johnny's house and he's always designing something. You know, he's got these architectural design programs up, and he's like designing little things. And I remember when he brought the foggers out, and I mean, just a few months ago, this place looked completely different.
Okay.
1 year ago, this was completely different.
Oh.
Like 100% completely different.
That's good to know.
It was
within a year.
I mean, that cafe used to be where that house is. That house, this little house, the bricks. I mean, this has only been up for maybe 6 or 8 weeks.
Oh, okay.
So
kind of gives it a different. This kind of feels like it's like almost gives off the vibe that it's been here forever.
Yeah.
You know? So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I really appreciate, because I have Malayu heritage, and some of the pictures up here, like you have Hang Tuah, right?
Yep.
And he's a famous warrior in the Malayu culture. And then there's Hang Jebat, and then there's Mat Kilau. And when I saw that, I had goosebumps. It was just a real nice touch, you know? Felt very included, because usually a lot of the Southeast Asian legends of the warriors, right? It's not well known unless you're told about it, or you study it, or you grew up with it, right? So Hang Tuah, you know, Hang Jebat, and Mat Kilau, that was a really nice touch. You know?
Exactly, and this is one of the efforts that I mean, this is Johnny's the visionary, and we all kind of he gives off ideas, and he has a way of including everyone.
That's what
he reaches out to like the Malaysians and the Cambodians. Say, hey, is this right? So
and then like you also have King Thaksin and Naresuan and the famous Thai warrior. I think he was, don't quote me on it, but I think he was the head guard for King Thaksin. Anyway, so he was nicknamed Broken Sword because he would continue fighting. I can't remember what battle it was, but he fought even when his swords were broken. I mean, so it was just, yeah, it was I was impressed. I was really impressed.
That's good. That's good to hear. Because we really do want to celebrate martial arts traditions, and me personally, I've learned so much about. I didn't even know what Kun Khmer was. I didn't know what Lethwei was. What's the difference?
Right.
And now just seeing it on the stage and having these Kun Khmer fighters and having these Lethwei fighters and hearing them talk about what it's like, because a lot of the stuff isn't really recorded. A lot of the fighters that we recruit out of Myanmar or the countrysides of Thailand, a lot of their fights are not recorded. You know what I mean? And
well, it's just because the access and the platform they don't have. But this was just such a. I just really appreciate the opportunity now that these legends or these fables get to spread around the world now, and the Gods of Martial Arts promotion is. I'm just really happy that these guys are finally getting noticed, and they should, as well as the other warrior legends of the other Asian cultures, but yeah, or maybe I'm just a little biased because I'm.
No, it's good. I mean,
Southeast Asian heritage.
You're the kind of people that we like to talk to, and not only that, gain advice from. You know what I mean? Because the first year was only Vietnamese, then we added 4 more countries, and next year all of Southeast Asia will be in the tournament, and then we'll add South Asia, and then eventually Japan. So we want to celebrate the traditions of all of the countries, right?
Nice.
So it's my understanding that you know a little bit about Japanese.
Oh no, I mean, like I just grew up. Well, I started judo when I was 5 under in Malaysia under Master Go, late Master Go, and my exposure to martial arts, of course, also loving animation.
Yep.
So Japanese animation, martial arts, and then I kind of liked reading up on the history of the ancient Japan, ancient China. It was almost by default, right? So I like martial arts. I love art. I love animation. It's kind of like a no-brainer, right? It just happens.
Sure. What's some of the more notable ancient martial arts traditions that you're most impressed with? That's the most interesting, or maybe an interesting story or a character. Maybe it's from Japan. Maybe it's from China. What's something something outside of Southeast Asia?
Outside of Southeast Asia,
but because we're gonna expand and we're looking forward, So give us some ideas, and so like the Japanese samurais is something that I've always been interested in.
I mean, like the mainstream stories of everyone knows Miyamoto Musashi, right? The legendary swordsman. Man, I don't think there's enough time. There's too many, and they all have their own flavors, right?
Yeah.
But I think for me, I just love the tales of Tuah, right? But you guys already kind of did that, though, right?
We still have a long way to go. So we're expanding. There's 195 to 205 countries in the world, depending on who you ask. So we've got time to expand.
I just think if as you expand, if you keep your ear close to the ground of the provincial legends, that I think it's a really good way to get in locally and to build up from there.
Yeah.
So like I said, like Hang Tuah, Hang Jebat, and Mat Kilau as a person who has Malaysian heritage, that's a good start. That's a good start. So just that approach of that idea, I think is great. In Thailand, like you got King Naresuan and King Thaksin. I think maybe when expanding into Thailand a little bit further, try to include the father of Muay Thai.
Okay.
Right, the legend. Who else? For the female fighters, there's a famous Thai queen that was also a warrior. I mean, that's just another way. If you want to start to engage with the female athletes in Thailand, that would be a nice way to get your foot in, I suppose.
Fantastic.
Because in Thailand and Malaysia and in Singapore, there's some female fighters there that are quite impressive and have a lot of talent. They just need exposure and opportunity. Like famous female martial artist champion, Panda, Jingnan, and then Ann Osman from Malaysia. There's another female fighter from Malaysia. I think she's from Johor.
Man, you have deep knowledge. You have lots of knowledge.
No, I just been around.
And we'll take this and we'll rewatch this episode and kind of take this and we'll kind of move forward with it. So we really do appreciate this this insight that you have, because I think you're one of the first ones, at least I've come across, to have this deep knowledge of ancient martial arts.
Deep knowledge. I think you just
take the compliment.
Okay. Okay.
But we have these episodes go by really quick, especially when we have interesting guests like yourself.
Right.
There's so much to you. You've done so much in martial arts. Liam can't say enough about you. For our audience to appreciate, your experience in martial arts, can you just kind of give us a synopsis? We know you fought, you fought professionally.
Right.
You've encountered with the Gracies, American Top Team.
Right.
So many different things, but can you just give us some highlights and your perspective on martial arts?
Well, I think for me, there's in my martial arts journey, there's just different stages, right? When I first started is martial arts, like everyone in the 70s and 80s, everyone loved Bruce Lee, right? And Chuck Norris, and Benny the Jet, and Bill Superfoot Wallace, and all these, Joe Louis, all these guys, right? And from there, it's when you start out early, and if you're competitive and extremely hyperactive, martial arts is a good vehicle to funnel all that energy. And then after that, well, for me, martial arts gave me a lot of opportunity, not just to learn how to channel my energies, but experience different cultures, learn languages, taste different foods, establish connections and relationships, and memories, stories, So
what's one of the most memorable stories in martial arts?
For me?
Looking back, what's the first thing that comes to mind? You have the Gracies, you've got, all these different moments. Maybe it's a small moment that kind of altered the course of your martial arts career. What's something that really sticks out to you?
Well, oh man, so many. I don't mean to. I wasn't being obnoxious when I said it, but I just got a few that it's hard to pick out. I would have to say the one that's most impactful, I would say, is the one with I'd have to say with Gregor Gracie. Yeah, that fight for me was a huge mental battle leading up to the fight. I'd popped my knee, did my rib, strained my groin in training camp, and there was just a lot of doubt. And to be fair, I mean, if these were the old Valley Tudo rules, I would have lost within the first round, right? But for me, it was just getting over that hurdle of the Gracie name, right? Because I mean, I'm Australian Malaysian, Australian, whichever way you want to coin it. But I was a kid that grew up in Ampang, which is an area in Kuala Lumpur, right? That started in judo, and now I'm competing against a Gracie member who back then, like during the 80s, 90s, like they were like jiu-jitsu gods, right? So, and then on top of that, across the corner, it was like, Master Renzo Gracie, a legend. You know what I mean? So there was a lot to get for me to overcome mentally. And then
was this a jiu-jitsu match or was it MMA fight?
It was an MMA match. It was an MMA match.
And where did this take place?
In Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, in Stadium Merdeka.
Wow. And which year was this?
Easy, 2012. Because a few weeks later, my daughter was born. So I had a kid on the way.
Wow.
They say the expression, who's tougher than a fighter? His wife. Because I had to go away on camp, right? So the last few months of my wife's pregnancy, I was away on camp. So
So what was your strategy in that?
The strategy was to use my jiu-jitsu to negate him and to force it standing. So I like to think I had good cardio. My thing that I took to heart was a quote that Frank Shamrock said. He goes, "Kill them with your cardio," So I just always made sure even when I used to fight Muay Thai professionally in the stadiums in Thailand, I was always I try to be the fittest guy in the gym.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So I was confident in my cardio. I was confident in my striking pedigree. Defensively, I was confident with my jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
But it was just getting over that name.
I can't imagine.
Yeah.
I really can't imagine. And then seeing Renzo across,
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be intimidating.
So
it's raining here, so we might have to speak a little louder.
Sure, no problem. Sure.
For the mics to pick up, and we don't want to lose out on any of this precious wisdom that you're sharing with us. This unique opportunity. But so yeah, you've had a lot of experience globally in a lot of different promotions, a lot of different jiu-jitsu, a lot of different martial arts, and we would really like your perspective on the different promotions around the world, like one championship and things like that.
Yep.
And then how that compares to Gods of Martial Arts, because we are a new promotion, not even 1 year old yet.
Right.
Not even 1 year old yet, and we're growing fast, and we seek guidance from.
Well, I just personally think how you guys are approaching it with your flavor and your perspective. I just think just keep doing it. Just keep doing it. Just keep doing the way that you're doing it. You know, I just really like this approach. You know, it has a very classic, ancient feel to it. So, you know, like I like that how you guys walked out with the banners. You know, it had a very Colosseum Roman feel to it. You know.
Yes.
I like that. I liked how you had with every team. Yeah, every team had their own song.
Yeah.
Right. The design of the cage. It had a very. It kind of reminded me of a cross between Bloodsport and kickboxer. You know. So that was really interesting. I like that. What else I like about it? The belt was really cool.
Yeah.
The belt, and one thing I love also is animals. Like you got a red nose pit bull here. That already won me over.
Yeah.
You know, Edna.
Yep.
So I just think just keep this style, the flavor of it. You know what I mean? I mean, just the ambience and energy of this place, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, I just keep doing what you're doing in this regards, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, and you are, for those who don't know, I mean, you're the coach of Boss, who in our last event was the only one to take home the Gods of Martial Arts title belt to Thailand. So, and we know that, you know, we've been working together, you know, over, you know, WhatsApp and everything like that over the internet for the last 8 months, and finally we get to meet each other in person. And, you know, it's very apparent that you guys have groomed Boss over the last decade.
Right.
And very passionate about that, and we love to see that. Can you take us through over the last decade how much he's grown as a fighter, and how you coach him, and what it's like to coach a guy like Boss?
It's you know that old saying, you know, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink it. Well, Boss was a very thirsty colt, right? Like his work ethic, his humility, his attitude, his courage, his perseverance. You know, all those qualities are a recipe for a great athlete, right? And when he started out, you know, like he would just turn up. Like in the beginning, he was almost self-taught, right? And then when he'd rock up to tournaments, and then he would come and train with the owner of Ninja Academy Thailand, Patrick Simon. They would come and train with me, and then just presence and perseverance. You know, like they always say, right? Just turn up. You know.
Yep.
And he's a killer in the ring, but he is the biggest softy outside the ring. You know. And that's one thing that I gotta say that really attracted me to Thai fighting culture, right? These guys are just absolute savages in the ring, but when they're out the ring, it's a different story, different person. You know? So I think Boss for me epitomizes what's the word I can use? The correct martial arts athlete to come out of Thailand. You know?
Absolutely.
He's soft and strong.
Yeah.
You know, he carries that duality quite well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Yeah, and he's got a spirit. You know what I mean? He's not loud or obnoxious. You know, he's when you see him focus, he's got this deep conviction when he stares at his opponent, like
unshakable confidence.
Yes, you know,
and
conviction, like, because he's like when people think, oh, aren't you scared when you fight? Like, everyone's scared, right? It's just, you know, how well you hold your cards to your chest, right? How well you can hold that composure, you know. But scared or not, the conviction and commitment of Boss is impressive.
It very much is, and a lot of people have said that about Boss just by looking at him. You know, Tommy Hayden speaks very highly of Boss. Man, I've heard so much about Boss over the last 6 months, and have been looking forward to see him in the ring. You know, just from not only talking to you guys and watching his videos, but talking to Tommy and talking to all these folks. And he had a tough opponent in the last event.
Very experienced and tough.
You're talking about a guy who's had 130 professional Kun Khmer fights. That's unbelievable. You know, fought and won championships 6 times. You know, almost undefeated in kickboxing. I mean, this guy's had hundreds of professional fights, and Boss confident throughout the entire.
Well, we worked the game plan. We worked the 3-stage approach game plan, and I'm glad that we did, because 2 of the game plans weren't applicable, and the last option of that game plan, the 3rd tier of that game plan, was we were able to execute it, you know, and keep imposing on it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So we were grateful for that, you know.
Yes. I mean, at no point in the fight did he look exhausted.
No. That's another thing. His weapon is cardio as well.
Yeah.
You know? So I mean, I just remember one of my old coaches would tell me in Brazil, he would say, you can have all the technique in the world, but if you don't have the gas tank to run that car,
you get it. Yeah, exactly. And and I can relate to that. I don't have the martial arts experience that you and Boss have in your team, but you know, I'm a wrestler. I started wrestling in 10th grade, wrestled in college.
You know,
but it's like
wrestling doesn't get enough credit, in my opinion.
I'm sorry?
Know? Wrestling doesn't get enough credit, because I've worked with wrestlers, like, not many. If you haven't wrestled before, I don't think people can understand the grind.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, my background is Jiu-Jitsu, Judo, and Muay Thai. I did a bit of boxing in high school, you know, but nothing major. But I've seen how, like, a wrestler's work ethic is so impressive.
I mean, I'm thankful to come from wrestling. And
I'm actually a little envious.
Because, I mean, I was always the least experienced guy.
Okay.
So I didn't start wrestling until I was in 10th grade. Somehow made varsity, but lost almost all my matches my first year, and I just hated it. And I was like, I cannot do this anymore. I cannot lose like this, be humiliated. My parents wouldn't even come watch me. Girls made fun of me at church, you know what I mean? So then I just wrestled all summer, and then I got to the point where I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to have the best technique, you know, but I can be in the best shape, and I can and strengthen my mind. I would just run in the mountains, you know, before school, like 10 kilometers.
Awesome.
And I just convinced myself that I am not going to let this kid beat me who doesn't run 10 kilometers in the snow every morning before school. And I will not accept that.
That's like a Rocky montage,
so
like Rocky 4.
So it's like, so there's the cardio aspect of it. And then if you're in better shape than everybody, you multiplies your learning
Yep.
in martial arts. And then if you're able to wear your opponent out, wrestlers can
Break them.
hang on people.
Yeah.
And we saw that in Boss. You know what I mean? You want to drain your opponent's energy while maintaining yours.
Yep.
And he did such a good job of that. He did phenomenal job of that in the wrestling, and we saw that. And that had to have been a part of your game plan.
No, it
little
was.
bit.
It was. So, like in the gym, I apply a lot to training, like how I approach learning jiu-jitsu, right? So, some of the ways that we train on, here goes some of the secrets, right? So, when we train, like, we'll take an example, wall wrestling, right? Like, I'm by no means, I consider myself a wrestler. Maybe a really crappy judoka and someone that's competent in jiu-jitsu, right?
Come on.
But the idea is that if I can't take you down, I'm gonna make you wear me, right? And that will wear on someone. And while I'm wearing you down, I'm gonna make you stressed on the fact that when you defend the takedown, I'm gonna go for your back. And when I'm on your back, not only do you have to carry me, now you have to worry about the threat of a choke. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and you cycle through your sets of positions and techniques, like in jiu-jitsu, right? I know the typical thing is that we say in jiu-jitsu, position before submission. But I remember one of my old Brazilian jiu-jitsu coaches, Fernando Paradeda, in Brazil, he used to say, I want to beat you down with my position. I'm going to submit you with my position. The pressure in my position is going to break you, right? So we kind of have that. Like if we have superior positioning and we're just slowly chipping away at you mentally and physically, one side or both sides will give, right? And the kind of three-prong approach that we have, right, is you can sweep or invert, you can submit or seek for superior positioning. And of course, and then the other thing is what we look at is resetting, right? So if you're constantly in that flux of going through those points, I mean, that's a lot to handle, right? But the thing is, for you to keep imposing that, you have to have cardio. So you can't slack off on your cardio. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and then you have a specific game plan and you plug it into that. I think it's a nice recipe. You know?
Absolutely. I mean, he just very impressed by Boss and his approach, and especially, I mean, Rince Roth is a tough competitor.
Oh,
and they
I mean, you look at the team that they come from. Those guys, and the pedigree of all their previous fighters. You know, like man, when I fought Ep.13 twice, that guy. That was a battle. Those were wars. I broke a bone.
Yep.
Or two, I think, in that fight. So
Yeah.
So and so good strategy. Coupled with a coachable fighter that has talent and that also has the right head and the right heart.
Yes.
I mean, those are just great ingredients for, you know, I keep on relating to food, but that's a great cake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe you haven't had enough pho today.
Bro, no. I've already done the pho and the banh mi. Now I want to get stuck into the desserts.
Oh, okay.
I got a bit of a sweet tooth, so
I got some recommendations for you after the podcast. Because
all right.
When you got into that, that's all we talk about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes,
so
please.
You've seen a lot of rule sets. You know, and one of the things that my wrestling coach my first year said was, don't leave it up to the referee. No. You know, do not leave it up to the referee. You got to finish the fight. And in wrestling is just, like, for me, it's just more objective. You know, there's not a lot, like in jiu-jitsu, it's like you got to be in side control for 3 seconds. Has it been 3 seconds? Is he in side control? And things like that.
Right.
Even the ADCC world championship refs can't even agree on things, but you don't really see that in wrestling, but we see that in MMA. Can you talk about a little bit about the different promotions and some of the challenges that we come across, especially with rising promotions such as GMA, and can you kind of touch on some of the things?
Well, I understand that every promotion, the priority is within reason, right? The priority is the athlete's safety, because if athletes keep breaking, you don't really much have a show, right? So priority for the athlete's safety is paramount. So I understand, but it's a hard act to juggle, where you have to make sure it's exciting and it honors martial art tradition, while keeping the athletes safe within the specific rule set, right? Yep. But I'm a bit of a pride fanboy. I'm actually a bit of a. I like. I don't think it's very lucrative, the old Vale Tudo rule sets, right? But I understand that, like when I fought in one, soccer kicks to the head were allowed, and not to say that I enjoyed them, but I like having that option, right? But I also understand that it's very dangerous for the athletes, right?
Yes.
So, but yeah, man, that's a tough act. It's a tough act because for the fact that you have to make it exciting for the fans, you have to make it safe for the athletes, but you still want to be able to make a platform where you can showcase their skill.
Yeah.
Right. So that's a tough act. That I think that puzzle. It's a complicated and delicate balance.
It's a complicated puzzle, just like you said. And really, I'm just a wrestler that does grappling. And,
I don't know why you
know what I mean?
See, that's the thing. That wrestlers, for me, sometimes I think they're just too humble because, man, listen, it's the oldest sport in the world.
But I mean, like, if I have an opponent and I know they're good at something, right? I'm going to do what I have to do to win the match. It's not going to be crowd pleasing. I'm going to have to wear them down. I'm going to have to wear them out, especially if it's a bigger opponent, 20 kilos heavier than me. I'm in better shape. I'm going to have to wear you out for 5 minutes. Study you. You're not going to get one opportunity, right? And if I get on top, I'm going to hang out there for a couple minutes. I'm going to wear you out, and then you are going to give me the submission, And then sometimes, around the world, not all the referees understand all the different types of martial arts. For example, here in Vietnam, grappling is very new. Wrestling is very new, man. I'm like one of the only college wrestlers in the country. It's crazy. Like you know what I mean? Right. We got Rafael from Dagestan who just wipes the floor with literally everyone.
Right.
But wrestling's not really much of a thing here, and I don't think that not all the referees understand the different approaches to MMA, right? Yep. If I were to go against a really good striker, I am going to avoid striking at all costs.
Oh, that's the intelligent approach.
And wear it down. But I think it is very complex because when you're balancing a show and making it exciting for the fans, and then also there's a lot at stake for the fighter. You know what I mean? And what are your thoughts on? We're a young promotion.
I think a good approach to have is to have some kind of process where you educate the refs, right? Because if you look at, MMA, there's so many disciplines that you have to be aware of, right? The grappling aspect, throwing aspect, the pinning aspect, the controlling aspect, and not just on the ground, up against the cage, right? The strategies, when you play off your back, when you play on top, when you're controlling someone down in turtle, or mat returning someone, understanding how a fighter is trying to escape the fight, trying to neutralize the fight. There's a difference between neutralizing and trying to run, right? Because the guy that's trying to neutralize, he's trying to find a break in rhythm and timing to then impose his strategy or his game plan, right? And sometimes within a reasonable time frame, locking onto someone, holding them down, wearing them out, right, is a strategy, right?
Yes.
So you deplete them of their energy, and then when they feel that they're pushed into a corner, so to speak, and then they'll take risks, and then if the opportunity is there, then that's where all that dynamic interaction happens, right? But sometimes within the fight, just controlling that situation, see what they do, and then capitalize on it, right? But if the ref can't see that, or maybe if the ref doesn't understand a position that, you can see it's going to advance, and then break the fight and make him stand up against someone who is, who's a little bit more experienced and understands the nuances of that, they can see that as robbery, right?
Yeah, and I understand that.
And
it's certainly I would not want to be a referee, first of all.
No, I've reffed in jiu-jitsu competitions.
Yeah.
I've been a boxing ref for the ABC, WBC. I've been a ref for Muay Thai. I've been a ref for qualified for a ref in ADCC and IBJJF, right? And in One Warriors, and yeah, it can be a thankless job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
But the thing is that I think for martial arts, a ref has to have not just one-dimensional one-dimensional approach, right?
Yep.
You can't favor just the striker, or you can't favor just the grappler. It's MMA.
Yeah.
Right? And like I said, and it's a delicate and complicated dance, right?
It is.
But it's very important, I think, for the referees and judges, when it can't go to where it doesn't lead to a knockout or a TKO, right, or a tap out. It's very important that the referees are educated in different aspects of the game: the grappling, the submission, the throwing, the striking, right, and the wrestling, either if it's standing in open space or up against a wall,
Yeah, absolutely. And there's different approaches.
Yes. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, and wrestling and grappling is exploding here in Vietnam. I mean, just 2 or 3 years ago, there was probably improved 500% in the last 5 years. It's probably not that much of an exaggeration. I've seen a significant improvement just in the last year, especially in gyms and schools that emphasize and understand the value of grappling and wrestling. So it is still very new here, and so a lot of these referees just don't. I mean, they've got a lot of different pressures. They've got. I mean, this is a new promotion. You've got a lot of cameras on you. You've got a lot of views. They've got instructions. And like you said, I think that certain conversations need to be had so that everyone.
If there could be some kind of course for the referees, that they have a basic course of learning grappling, submission grappling, or jiu-jitsu, or judo, or wrestling, whether it be collegiate, freestyle, Greco, right? Because one thing that it's very hard to translate across to from an outside perspective is pressure and connection, right? Mm-hmm. And you can only I think appreciate it by wrestling.
Yes.
Do you know? So if
Yeah.
if referees from maybe striking backgrounds can be exposed or go through some kind of course where they learn jiu-jitsu or learn submission grappling, right? Or even if it's grappling just specifically for MMA, because they'll understand and appreciate the whole idea of pressure, right?
Yeah.
And likewise too for grapplers that don't have experience in striking, the nuances of footwork and feinting and cutting angles,
Yeah.
you know, and setting up your shots, broken rhythm in regards to striking, you know, like when you see that, you can appreciate that more, right? So therefore you won't be so quick to judge and jump in, you know. But I understand, you know, you have to try to keep the crowd engaged. So yeah, it's a tough one. You have to somehow make sure to educate the crowd, to make sure that the referees are educated, right? But then also to help carry the excitement in the fight, right? To keep it dynamic, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
So like I said, yeah, I don't envy that job in regards to
No.
trying to establish that kind of platform and growth.
Yeah,
You know?
and it's very, like you said, it's a very difficult puzzle, and I think it's, you know, GMA is very open to guidance and conversation, you know, just by being here for almost a year, and I think that it's folks like you that can help us, guide us in the right direction, and have conversations that's going to lead us.
I'm more than willing to
Yeah.
have that conversation.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And there's a lot of other factors that, I mean, every country is different, you know.
Yep.
You have all these different factors, and
You have to take in cultural sensitivities,
Yeah,
the
and it's
nuances,
like-
the approach, right?
Yep.
So yeah, no, I get that completely.
Yeah.
But I really, really like the design packaging in regards to GMA, you know?
it's incredible.
Yeah.
It really is. I mean, I love just the music. The music just never gets old.
that
man.
was a really nice touch. And then when they're all coming out with their banners, right? Oh, dude.
What about the angels? We don't have ring girls. We have angels.
Yeah.
It's so unique, man.
You know, there was a lot of attention to detail, especially like with the female presenters with their dress, you know, and it got to showcase the Southeast Asian culture in regards to design and the whole scheme of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like from the walkout to the ring presenters to the layout of the cage to the seats, the signs, the lighting, you know, the fog machines, you know, the greenery, you know, it's a good package. Like GMA's got a really good, interesting approach that I think it's strong.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. We're coming to the close end of the time. Maybe
Sure.
3 to 5 minutes left. You know, what is? I mean, you've seen so many different promotions and approaches and things like that. You know, GMA really wants to get involved locally.
Right.
You know, in Thailand, in Myanmar, and all these different countries. Is there any advice that you'd have, you know, other than rule sets and things like that,
Right.
that we could do to
Right.
make local fighters from all these different countries in Southeast Asia and beyond to feel included and provide them opportunities?
You guys
to-
are already doing that. You guys already have that, right? Because this promotion is quite new, right?
Yeah, less than a year.
And the way that it's starting off, I mean, it has a lot of promise. So, yeah, no, like I said, this is just keep doing what you're doing. This is a good start. A good start,
awesome, man.
you know.
Yeah.
Good start.
And we're gonna go international. We're looking for other venues,
Mm-hmm.
you know, in Thailand and you know, Myanmar and Cambodia and things like that. And we're gonna have,
Malaysia too?
of course, Malaysia.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Right.
I I mean, I love Malaysia. I've competed in Malaysia. I know all the women who run the ADCC down there.
Yep.
You know, Lowen and Zen, and you know, I know Adam Jitsu, of course.
Adam?
I got flying. He flying triangled me. Flying triangled. I mean, it was just incredible. You know, and then but he's such a respectful guy. You know, I went, I trained there.
Just got married recently.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, what a prodigy. Okay. So, but yeah, absolutely. Malaysia has got a very good amateur MMA scene.
Yes.
You have a lot of opportunities to compete in MMA, and a lot of opportunities to grapple, but
Malaysia's got a lot of talent as well. Do you know what I mean?
So,
I think the Malaysian fighters. I'm just gonna plug in my Malaysian homies.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, but Malaysia's got a lot of untouched talent.
Absolutely.
You know? Untapped, untouched.
Yeah.
You know, they just need the opportunity.
Yeah.
You know? And I think.
And we would love your guidance as we move forward.
Yep, sure, of course.
You know, and
my pleasure.
And
definitely.
I love going down to Malaysia and working.
I actually found a lot of things. The vibe here very similar to Malaysia, so it was nice as well. You know?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Adam, hey, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me,
being
Zac.
on the show.
Thank you for having
it's just not enough time. We'll get together soon, and hopefully we have some more conversation. That wraps up episode 13 of the GMA Beyond the Fight podcast. The next event is going to be GMA 08 on the 6th of September here at GMA Arena in Ho Chi Minh City. Can't wait to see you guys there. Goodbye.